Have you ever stopped to think why so many people are living with less and being happier? I'm going to tell you something that completely changed my way of seeing things at home. There's an ancient wisdom that teaches us to let go of what we no longer need, and believe me, this has nothing to do with throwing everything away. It's about creating space to breathe better, to live more lightly, to wake up every day without the weight of seeing everything piled up. And the most incredible thing is that this philosophy comes from a culture that masters the art of living simply without sacrificing comfort. If you feel anxious looking at all that stuff stored away, if you feel like your house is always full but you don't use even half of it, then you need to watch this video until the end. Because I'm going to show you 10 powerful secrets that will teach you how to truly let go, without guilt, without drama, and on top of that, it will make you feel a freedom you never imagined existed. Stay with me until the end, because the last tip is the most transformative of all, and I guarantee you'll want to apply it today. Tip 1. Say thank you before letting go. You know that item you've kept for years but never wear? That piece of clothing that's been taking up space in your closet? Before you simply get rid of it, there's a very important step that most people skip. And it's precisely this step that makes all the difference between letting go of things with a heavy heart or doing so with lightness and peace. The secret is gratitude. It seems simple, but it's powerful. When you pick up that item and thank it for the time it served you, you're respectfully closing a cycle. You're not throwing it away in anger or in haste. You're acknowledging that it had a purpose in your life, and now it's time to move on. This completely changes the energy of your home. I did this myself with a coat I received a long time ago. I loved that coat, but it no longer fit me. I held on to it for years just for the memory. Until one day, I sat down, picked it up, thanked it for the memories it brought me, and donated it to someone who would actually use it. Do you know what happened? I felt lighter immediately. There wasn't that tightness in my chest I always felt when I thought about getting rid of it. It was liberating. When you give thanks, you lift the emotional weight clinging to that object. You transform the act of letting go into something beautiful, not something painful. Try doing this with something today. Take something you know you no longer use, hold it in your hands, say a sincere thank you out loud or in your mind, and let it go. You'll see the difference. Your heart will feel calmer and your home will start to breathe easier. This is the first step to a lighter life, and it starts with gratitude. Tip 2. Keep only what brings you joy. Now comes a question you need to ask yourself every time you look at anything in your home. Does this bring me joy? It seems silly, but it's not. We accumulate so much stuff out of obligation, out of habit, because someone gave it to us, because one day we might need it. But the truth is, most of what we keep doesn't make our hearts beat faster. And look, I'm not telling you to throw away everything that isn't perfect. I'm telling you to evaluate whether it really matters to you. Some people keep piles of old towels because they think they'll use them someday. Some people keep broken kitchen utensils because they feel bad throwing them away. Some people clutter their closets with clothes they'll never wear again. And all of this just takes up space, collects dust, and weighs on your mind. When you decide to keep only what truly brings you joy, you're making a conscious choice to live better. You create space to breathe. You transform your home into a place that truly welcomes you. I've kept so many things for fear of needing them later. But do you know how many times I've actually needed them? Almost none. And all the while it all sat there, reminding me that I had to organize, that I had to clean, that I had to find a way. When I started applying this rule of keeping only what brings me joy, my home became lighter, more beautiful, and much easier to maintain. And best of all, I began to truly appreciate what I have. Everything that stays has a special reason. Every object has its place and its function. So do the same for me. Pick a corner of your home today and look at each thing with this question in your heart. Does this bring me joy? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. And it doesn't have to be radical. Take your time, but do it. Tip 3. Organize by category, not by room. Here's a mistake almost everyone makes when trying to organize their home. We think like this: I'll tidy my bedroom today, the kitchen tomorrow, then the living room. It seems logical, right? But this way of organizing doesn't really work. You know why? Because you can't see the big picture. You tidy one room, but things in the same category are scattered throughout the house. So you never really get a sense of how much you have of each item. The secret here is to organize by category, not by location. What does that mean? Simple. Instead of tidying your bedroom, you gather all the clothes in the house in one place. All of them. From your closet, the laundry room, that forgotten drawer, that hanger in the bathroom, everything together. When you do this, it scares you, because then you really see how many pieces you have. And then it becomes easier to decide what stays and what goes. The same goes for books, kitchen utensils, cleaning products, everything. Gather everything in the same category in one place, look at it, and then you decide. I did this with my dish towels. I thought I had 5, 6 at most. When I gathered them all together, I had 23. 23 dish towels, I used 3. The rest were taking up space, accumulating moisture, and I didn't even know it. I separated the best ones, donated the rest, and that was it. Now I know exactly what I have, and I don't have to search anymore. This way of organizing changes everything because you gain real control over your things. You no longer buy duplicates because you know what you have. You don't hoard because you can see the volume firsthand, and you take better care of what you actually use. So start today with a small category. It could be pens, spices, socks. Gather everything in one place, evaluate it, and make decisions. You'll see the difference immediately. Before I continue, I want to ask you something quick. If you're enjoying these tips, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's move on to the next tip that will help you even more. Tip 4. Define a fixed place for everything. You know that situation when you're looking for scissors and can't find them. Or that moment when you need a pen and keep opening drawer after drawer. This happens because things don't have a fixed place. And when nothing has a specific place, everything becomes a mess. This tip here is to put an end to that once and for all. Everything you decide to keep in your home needs to have a fixed place, a place of its own. And every time you use it, you put it back there. It seems obvious, but few people actually do this. We use it and leave it anywhere. Then when we need it again, we can't remember where we left it. We start that desperate search, waste time, get irritated, and in the end, we still think the house is always messy. But the problem isn't a lack of organization. It's a lack of a defined place. When you define a place for everything, everything changes. You know exactly where it is. You don't waste time searching, and you keep the house organized effortlessly because you just use it and put it back where it belongs. It's that simple. I did this with my house keys before I left them anywhere. On the table, in my bag, on the couch. I was always looking for them until I put a permanent hook in the entryway. Now every time I come in, I hang it there. And every time I leave, I know exactly where they are. It seems silly, but it saves time and eliminates that silly daily stress. Do this with everything, with your scissors, your remote control, your medicine, your important documents. Everything needs to have a fixed place, and if you live with other people, teach them where everything belongs too. It may seem like a lot of work at first, but it becomes automatic, and then you'll see how much more organized your home becomes without you having to tidy up all the time. Because things no longer scatter around, they return to their place on their own. Tip 5. Let go of what is broken or damaged. This tip hurts a lot of people's hearts, but it needs to be said. If it's broken, damaged, or no longer works, there's no reason to keep it. We have a habit of holding on to broken things with the excuse that one day we'll fix it. But let's be honest. If it's been stored for months, years, and you still haven't fixed it, you won't fix it. It's just taking up space and accumulating stagnant energy. And look, I understand. Sometimes we hold on to something because it was expensive, because it was a gift, because it has sentimental value. But if it doesn't work, there's no point in holding on. You're not honoring that object by keeping it broken in a drawer. You're just carrying weight, and this emotional and physical weight prevents you from moving forward. I myself once kept a pan with a broken handle because I thought it would stick together. I kept it for over a year, until I realized that every time I opened the cupboard and saw that pan, I felt a pang of guilt. Guilt for not having fixed it, guilt for not having thrown it away. The day I finally got rid of it, I felt enormous relief. It sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. Broken things carry an energy of incompleteness. They remind you of tasks you didn't do, of promises you didn't keep, and that weighs more heavily than we realize. So do this. Take a day and spend the entire house looking for broken things. That chair that's been wobbling for months, that appliance that doesn't work, that ripped garment you swore you'd mend. If you really want to fix it, set a deadline. A week, a month at most. If you haven't fixed it within that time frame, it's a sign it's not a priority. And if it's not a priority, it doesn't need to be in your home. Let it go. Free up the space and free up your mind too. You'll feel the difference. Tip 6. Practice digital detachment too. Now let's talk about something everyone forgets, but which also weighs heavily on us. Digital detachment. We're always cleaning the house, organizing our closets, but we forget that our cell phones and computers are also full of things we no longer need, and this also takes up space. Not physical space, but mental space. How many duplicate photos do you have saved? How many apps you downloaded once and never used again? How many contacts of people you no longer remember? How many old files you don't even know why you saved? It's all there, taking up memory on your device and in your head, because every time you open your phone and see that mess, your brain processes it, and it's tiring. We don't realize it, but it is tiring. So take some time to do a digital cleanup. Delete the blurry photos, the duplicates, the ones that no longer make sense. Uninstall the apps you haven't used in months. Organize your files into folders with clear names. Clean out your email inbox. And it might seem silly, but you'll feel lighter. I did this the other day and deleted over 1,000 photos that were just taking up space. Photos of random things, screenshots of old conversations, images I didn't even remember taking. When I finished, I felt a sense of relief. Like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. And my phone got faster too. Digital detachment is just as important as physical detachment because we're always glued to our devices. And if they're cluttered, our minds are too. So take some free time and do this cleanup. You'll thank yourself later. Tip 7. Avoid saving for fear of the future. This is one of the biggest traps of letting go. We keep things because we're afraid of needing them one day and not having them. Afraid of regretting them. Afraid of spending money buying them again. And this fear makes us accumulate things we'll never use again. I've heard this phrase so often, but what if I need them? And the truth is, most of the time, you won't. And if you do, you find a solution right away. We vastly overestimate the necessity of things. We think we'll use them again, but we don't. And in the meantime, they sit there, taking up space, gathering dust, weighing down our routine. The secret is to trust yourself more. Trust that if you ever really need something, you'll find a way. You'll borrow it, improvise, buy it again if it's truly necessary. But most of the time, you won't even remember you had them. I myself kept cardboard boxes for years because I thought I'd need them for a move. Do you know how many times I've moved in that time? None. And when I finally threw it away, it didn't make a dent. It was just taking up space in my junk room. So stop hoarding things out of fear. Stop accumulating things thinking you might need them one day. If you haven't used them in the last 6 months, you probably won't use them in the next 6. And if it's something seasonal, like party decorations, it's okay to keep them. But the rest, let go. Trust the process. Trust that life gives you what you need at the right time. And that less is more. Much more. Tip 8. Donate. Don't throw away without thinking. When we decide to let go, it's very easy to be tempted to simply throw everything in the trash. But calm down. Before you do, think about who might benefit from what you no longer want. That piece of clothing that no longer fits you might be perfect for someone else. That book you've already read might be a discovery for someone else. That appliance you no longer use might be needed in someone's home. Donating is a beautiful way to let go. You get rid of what no longer serves you, and you also help someone. It's a generous gesture that benefits both the recipient and the giver. I started doing this and feel much better, because I know that what I no longer want will have a second chance. It will be truly useful, and it won't end up in a landfill, taking up space and polluting the planet. There are several ways to donate. You can look for charities in your city. You can leave it at a church or a charity bazaar. You can give it to neighbors, family, or friends. There are groups on social media where people give things away for free. There are recycling cooperatives that accept various types of items. The important thing is not to throw them away thoughtlessly. Of course, there are things that really need to be thrown away, things that are very damaged, very dirty, and no longer usable. But most of what we discard is still in good condition, and it deserves a new chance. So before you throw it away, stop and think. Wouldn't someone else like this? Couldn't it be useful elsewhere? If the answer is yes, find a way to donate it. You'll feel good about it, and you'll be doing your part for a better world. Before we continue, let me tell you something quick. If you want to have a clean, organized, and fragrant home without wasting hours of your day or spending on expensive products, I've prepared a complete guide with easy homemade recipes, a weekly checklist, and professional tricks that really work. The link is in the first pinned comment. Now let's continue with the video. Tip 9. Make a habit of letting go a little every day. Decluttering doesn't have to be that dramatic thing of setting aside an entire day and turning the whole house over. In fact, it works much better when you do a little every day. It's like taking care of your health. You don't need to go on a crash diet. You need to create small, healthy habits that stick over time. It's the same with decluttering. If you try to do everything at once, you'll feel overwhelmed. You'll tire along the way. And in the end, you won't be able to maintain it. But if you create the habit of decluttering a little every day, it becomes natural. It becomes part of your routine. And then you keep your house light, always organized, without having to do major cleaning. How do you do this? It's simple. Every day, before you go to bed, choose one thing to get rid of. It can be a small thing, an old piece of paper, a pen that no longer writes, an empty container, an object you realize you don't use, a piece of clothing that doesn't fit, anything. The important thing is to do one thing a day. It may seem like a small thing, but over the course of a month, that's 30 things. Over the course of a year, there are more than 300, and all this without stress, without effort, without feeling like you're giving up something important, because you have time to think, to feel, to decide calmly. I started doing this, and it completely changed my relationship with my things. Before, I would accumulate and occasionally do a big cleanup. Now I let go little by little every day. And the house is always in order, always light, so start today. Before you go to bed, Choose one thing to get rid of, just one. And do this every day. You'll see how in no time, your house will be more organized and you will feel lighter. No weight, no guilt, no clutter. Tip 10. Understand that letting go is freeing yourself. And now we come to the most important tip of all. The one that changes the way you view detachment forever. Letting go isn't losing. Letting go is gaining. It's gaining space, gaining time, gaining lightness, gaining peace. We grow up hearing that having more is better, that accumulating is a sign of success, that hoarding is being prudent, but the truth is the opposite. The more you have, the more you need to care for it. The more you need to clean, organize, store, remember. And this saps your energy. It saps your time. It saps your peace. When you understand that letting go is letting go, everything becomes easier. You stop feeling guilty. You stop feeling afraid. You stop holding on to what no longer serves you, and you start to truly live with more space to breathe, with more time to do what matters, with a lighter heart. It took me a while to understand this myself. I thought I needed to keep everything, that everything had value, that one day I would use it. But when I finally started letting go, I realized that what I really gained wasn't closet space. It's created space in my life. I have more time because I don't have to take care of so much. I have more peace because I don't stare at the mess. I have more clarity because my mind isn't full of pending issues. So understand this deep down in your heart. Letting go isn't giving up. It's choosing what truly matters. It's making space for what's good for you. It's freeing yourself from the weight of excess. And when you do this, you discover a freedom you didn't know existed, a lightness that transforms your daily life, a peace you never imagined possible. So start today. Choose one thing to let go of and feel the difference. Because letting go is liberating yourself. And you deserve this freedom. And so we reach the end of this video. I sincerely hope these tips touched you in some way. That they showed you that it's possible to live with less and be much happier. That letting go isn't a loss, it's liberation. And that you have all the power to transform your home and your life, starting today with small choices. You don't have to do everything at once. Go at your own pace, but you will. Because everything you let go, every space you open, every weight you lift, leaves you lighter, freer, more at peace. And look, if you've made it this far, it's because you truly want this change. So don't put it off. Choose a drawer, a corner, a small category, and get started. You'll see that the first step is the hardest, but after that, everything flows. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now. Activate the bell so you don't miss the next videos. And tell me in the comments which of these tips you'll apply first. I read every comment and love hearing about your experience. Before I finish, I want to remind you of something important. If you want to have a clean, organized, and fragrant home without wasting hours of your day or spending on expensive products, I've prepared a complete guide with simple homemade recipes, a weekly checklist, and professional tricks that really work. The link is in the first pinned comment. It's worth checking out to transform your routine in a practical and economical way. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for trusting my work. And always remember, you are capable of having the home and life you dream of. Just start. Cheers, and see you in the next video.